Hello, good evening. You're watching Gravitas. I'm Shreya Upadhyay. Let's get started. A crucial visit by Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi to India has led to the announcement of the first co-development project between both nations. What does it entail at a time when global uncertainties are increasingly becoming a norm and maritime security is the central focus in the Indo-Pacific region? We decode the India-Japan partnership and the naval radio antenna unicorn that opens up a new chapter in the Indo-Japan defense technology partnership. Moving on, Russian forces launched a massive overnight drone and missile attack on Kiev, killing at least 21 people. Remember, this comes as Ukraine has been targeting Russian energy facilities in the past few days. We get you all about it. And here in India, monsoon fury has gripped multiple states, including Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh and Karnataka, with daily life getting disrupted and some even getting killed due to weather-related incidents. We get you the latest situation from there. Our top story tonight is from here in India, a crucial relationship that would shape the contours of the Indo-Pacific region. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japan's Prime Minister Takaichi held bilateral talks in New Delhi today. It was followed by an exchange of memorandums of understanding in various sectors, including defense. In a strong message amid global uncertainties and the weaponization of tariffs, Prime Minister Takaichi said that there is an urgent need for India and Japan to provide regional energy security.
As both countries face challenges such as economic weaponization and non-market practices, we need to urgently build resilience in our critical minerals supply chains. Further, in the area of energy security impacted by the Middle East situation, both Japan and India bear the responsibility to provide for region-wide energy security, as I presented in Power Asia.
And Prime Minister Modi echoed this sentiment. He announced that a joint roadmap for economic security and a focus on energy are the key priorities for the two Asian partners.
आज के अनिश्चितता भरे युग में भारत और जापान दोनों इकोनॉमिक सिक्योरिटी और एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी का महत्व अच्छी तरह समझते हैं। इसी दिशा में आज हमने इकोनॉमिक सिक्योरिटी के लिए एक जॉइंट रोडमैप तैयार किया है। इसके माध्यम से हम सेमीकंडक्टर, क्वांटम और एडवांस मटेरियल जैसे स्ट्रेटेजिक क्षेत्रों में सप्लाई चेन रेजिलियंस को मजबूत करेंगे। एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी के क्षेत्र में भी आज हमने कई महत्वपूर्ण निर्णय लिए हैं।
Now, even as the two leaders stressed on economic and energy security, the cornerstone of this relationship, remember, has been the Indo-Pacific and its significance. PM Modi reiterated the need for a rules-based Indo-Pacific region.
जापान दोनों ही विश्व की सबसे बड़ी इकोनॉमीज में से है। एक फ्री, प्रॉस्परस और रूल्स बेस्ड इंडो पैसिफिक हमारी साझा प्राथमिकता है।
Remember, over the past decade, New Delhi and Tokyo have transformed their relationship from one driven primarily by trade and investment into a comprehensive strategic partnership that is focused on defense and maritime security.
A destroyer of Japan's maritime self-defense force and an India Navy vessel are planning to engage in joint exercise. We will enhance exercises in the Indian Ocean, promote naval maintenance, repair, and overhaul cooperation, and strengthen equipment cooperation under the Make in India framework.
Now, at the heart of this partnership is defense. Prime Minister Modi said that the first co-development project between India and Japan will help develop defense technologies and strengthen maritime security and regional peace. Elaborating on the project, the Prime Minister said that this project involving the naval radio antenna Unicorn will open a new chapter in our defense technology partnership. Now remember, India and Japan share a close defense partnership. The two nations have a pact on the Mogami-class stealth frigates. Japan has actively proposed co-producing its ultra-modern, highly automated Mogami-class multi-role frigates directly inside Indian shipyards under the Make in India initiative. Then there's advanced propulsion systems. The two countries have established frameworks to look into the joint production of electric and hybrid motors for military drones, advanced fighter jet engines, and next-generation warship propulsion. The two countries conduct regular joint military exercises involving their armies, navies, as well as air forces. In fact, they're also key members of the Quad. A mechanism of joint working group exists between the two countries to progress collaboration and cooperation in the field of defense equipment and technology. The Indian Armed Forces undertake regular staff talks as well with the Japan Self-Defense Forces to further enhance the defense cooperation and interoperability. The Indian-Japanese navies, remember, hold exercises JMEX and participate in multi-army exercises like Malabar and Milan. You see, for both India and Japan, ensuring that the Indo-Pacific remains free, open, and governed by international law is a strategic priority. The growing military and economic assertiveness of China, particularly in the East China Sea, the South China Sea, and the Indian Ocean, has pushed both countries to strengthen their cooperation. Japan faces increasing pressure in the East China Sea, while India deals with border tensions with China along the line of actual control. Now, these shared security concerns have brought the two democracies closer than ever before. For India, Japan is a trusted partner that brings advanced technology, investment, and strategic support. Meanwhile, for Japan, India represents a fast-growing economy, a major democratic power, and a key player in maintaining stability across the Indo-Pacific. All right, shifting our focus now to the Russia-Ukraine war. At least 21 people have been killed and 85 have been injured after one of the largest Russian aerial assaults on Kiev since the war began. Hundreds of drones and dozens of missiles turned the Ukrainian capital into a landscape of fire, smoke, and shattered buildings. Russia says the attacks are a retaliation for the Ukrainian attacks on civilian infrastructure. President Volodymyr Zelensky says that Ukraine will retaliate hard. Now, as the war enters another dangerous phase, both Russia and Ukraine are expanding the scale and the reach of their attacks. This next report gets you all the details. Take a look.
The first explosions shattered the silence before dawn. Then came another. And another. Air raid sirens echoed across Kyiv as wave after wave of drones and missiles crossed the sky. Within minutes, the capital was engulfed in smoke, dust, and falling debris. According to Ukraine's Air Force, Russia launched 496 drones and 74 missiles, with Kyiv emerging as the primary target. It was one of the largest coordinated aerial assaults of the war. The destruction stretched across the city. Apartment blocks were ripped open, windows were blown out across entire streets. As emergency crews raced from one impact site to another.
What emotions can there be? Horrible. I want to, excuse my language, die and not see anything or anyone. Windows in that room, windows here are broken. Curtains, everything was ripped off, everything at all, in the kitchen too. Everything, you understand?
It happened between 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. The building started to shake strongly. Even at the parking lot, the strong vibration was felt, and it followed by the explosion. It was evident right away what happened nearby.
Eyewitnesses described terrifying moments as explosions came in rapid succession.
A missile struck nearby. We managed to reach the parking garage for shelter. We ran inside and then heard the explosion. We were able to take cover, but everything is destroyed. I don't even know what to say. People are still trapped under the rubble.
Among the damaged buildings were a 5-star hotel, highlighting how the strikes reached some of Kyiv's most prominent locations, showing the carnage caused by Russia's advanced weapons, including hypersonic missiles.
Zelensky renewed his appeal to Western allies to urgently strengthen Ukraine's air defenses, saying that Patriot systems remain a top priority as they are among the few that can intercept ballistic missiles. Zelensky has also appealed to Putin, Russia's president, to end this war, but says that despite these diplomatic appeals, Moscow continues to intensify its attack on Ukrainian cities.
Even as Kyiv counts the damage, Ukraine carried out long-range strikes inside Russia. Ukrainian officials said drones targeted one of Russia's largest oil refineries, a bridge and a military command post, continuing Kyiv's strategy of hitting logistics, fuel supplies and military infrastructure. Fighting is taking a growing toll on Ukrainian troops. In the past 6 months, 25 soldiers from the 425th Separate Assault Regiment have died. An investigation is underway after many bodies showed signs of beatings and delayed medical care. According to a report by CSIS, more than 2 million Russian and Ukrainian troops have been killed or wounded in the 4 years. Now, in its 5th year, the conflict is entering an even more dangerous phase. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
From striking critical radars to targeting key Russian oil refineries, Ukraine has been using drones to cripple Moscow. Over the past 5 years, Kiev has been using these drones in ways that have set new standards in modern warfare. Whether it was using drones hidden inside trucks to strike Russian fighter jets during Operation Spiderweb in June last year, or deploying kamikaze drones boats against Russian naval targets. In the latest, Kiev has now reportedly converted a surface vessel into a drone mothership. These visuals show the new unmanned surface vessel in action during testing. The robotic catamaran carries Guardian 1 interceptor drones inside the launch boxes and releases them remotely while at sea. Its wide, flat deck can carry more drones than earlier designs, and the same launch boxes also serve as storage. The concept could reportedly eventually allow similar drone launch systems to operate from land, sea, and even air platforms. The new system reportedly gives Ukraine another way to defend its coastline. Instead of relying only on warships, these unmanned boats can quickly move into position, launch interceptor drones, and help stop incoming enemy drones or low-flying aircraft. Working together, several of these vessels could create a defensive shield along the shoreline. Future versions could reportedly also carry other precision weapons. According to a Forbes report, the new drone was tested by American drone maker Powerus. Now remember, Powerus, along with Ukrainian company Swarmer, are reportedly working on the swarm technology. This allows one operator to control multiple drones at the same time. This concept also builds on Ukraine's other types of unmanned warfare, such as the surprise drone attacks that were launched from trucks deep inside Russian territory to explosive drone boats in the Black Sea. While overall, the project also reflects a much bigger global trend. Remember, as conflicts increasingly depend on low-cost unmanned systems, the race for drone dominance has been accelerating, and countries around the world are rapidly expanding drone production and battlefield capabilities. Like the Indian Army's Baz Battalion, a specialized drone unit built to centralize drone warfare and sharpen combat readiness. Or the Pentagon's move to merge its scattered drone programs under one command, eliminating silos to speed up the future of military drone warfare. After months of conflict between United States and Europe and ahead of next week's NATO summit in Ankara, Germany, it seems, is pushing America to allow more American weapons to be built on German soil. A Financial Times report states that Germany is seeking to plug Europe's military gaps while giving Donald Trump a reason to remain invested in the continent's defense. The report states that German officials have been asking Americans to agree to a co-production deal. Now, this push, remember, is part of a broader attempt by Europe to use their defense industrial capacity to get their relationship back on track with the US. When he was asked about Europe's goal to reduce dependence on the United States, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said, and I quote him, "No one has said that aiming for more independence in the defense industry means being committed only to purely European systems. That is not the case, and it will not be the case in the future either." Reports suggest that both countries are now looking to strengthen their defense capabilities, particularly in co-production of long-range Tomahawk missiles and Pact 3, which is, remember, the most advanced form of missiles used by Patriot air defense systems. However, even as Germany presses defense collaboration, it added that America needs Europe too. Pistorius said, and I quote him here, "We know that US production capacity is also limited and urgently needs to be expanded. That is why we're very interested in building certain systems or parts of systems here in Germany." Meanwhile, Chancellor Friedrich Merz said that he saw no contradiction between the co-production drive and European efforts to become less dependent on the United States. He, in fact, added that it is part of a broader European effort to rebalance the alliance without breaking the transatlantic link. In fact, in a hint to Donald Trump, who, remember, keeps calling EU's role out in the NATO, Merz said that as Europeans, we are taking more responsibility in NATO. We're reducing one-sided transatlantic dependencies. Remember, US and German defense companies already have a few pacts. Rheinmetall is producing fuselages for Lockheed Martin's F-35 fighter jets. It's also involved in the setting up of the new MBDA Raytheon facility to make Pact 2 and GEM-T Patriot missiles. So how does this move by Germany benefit both sides? Well, for starters, building critical American weapons in Germany would help Washington tackle the capacity problems that it is facing due to the Iran war. It would also help countries such as Germany obtain weapons more quickly as they race to rearm in the Russia-Ukraine war. Plus, remember, US defense contractors are reportedly struggling with large order backlogs and bottlenecks in key components. So the US will benefit from this if it agrees to it. So essentially, Berlin's main aim is to fill in the gaps that Washington may have in its defense capabilities. But the real question is, will Donald Trump agree to this? US President Donald Trump's Iran war gambit ended up in the virtual closure of the Strait of Hormuz, which accounted for 20% of global oil and gas trade. Now, with Iran dictating the terms on Hormuz, a frustrated Donald Trump seemingly used the Panama card to deflect attention. That's right. Speaking at the opening of the Roosevelt Library, Trump criticized former U.S. President Jimmy Carter's decision to sign a treaty giving up America's control of the Panama Canal to the Panama's government. He's also accused China of trying to take over this strategic waterway. Listen in.
They raised the prices for the ships by 4 times, and they didn't lose one ship. And then they raised it again twice, and they didn't lose one ship. All they did is make tremendous amounts of money for years and years. How stupid was that? And now China is trying to take over the Panama Canal, and we're not going to let that happen, okay?
The 51-mile-long Panama Canal is a critical global maritime passageway as it connects the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. It caters to close to 6% of the global trade. In 2025, over 13,400 vessels transited this very canal. While the U.S. controlled this canal since the beginning of the 20th century, its tensions with Panama grew over the years over the issue. In 1964, a riot broke out when the locals demanded the right to fly Panama's flag in this particular zone. After years of deliberations, Jimmy Carter signed 2 treaties in 1977. While the first treaty allowed U.S. to use its military to defend the Panama Canal against any threat, the second one paved the way for transferring its control to the Panama government in 1999. And since then, the Panama Canal Authority, which is a government agency that operates and manages this canal, contrary to Trump's assertion, remember, China has no direct stakes here. However, Panama Ports Company, which is a subsidiary of Hong Kong-based C.K. Hutchison, operated 2 ports of Balboa and Cristobal. In 2025, it tried to sell these very ports to a group led by U.S. firm BlackRock. But this deal was halted, reportedly due to pressure from the Chinese government. In February this year then, the Panama government took over these ports after the country's Supreme Court ruled that Panama Ports Company had no legal basis to operate these ports located at the Pacific and Atlantic entrances to the Panama Canal. In fact, this canal is of special significance to America's economy. Let's tell you how. It's because it accounts for 40% of U.S. container traffic, which essentially amounts to $270 billion annually. And most importantly, it reduces the time and cost of shipping for America as it allows vessels to bypass the lengthy trip around the southernmost tip of South America. Recently, U.S. Naval Chief Darrell Caudle also made it clear that America sees the U.S. as a national security priority.
National security challenge for us to make sure that that can be done with our current relationship with Panama without a third party like China or anyone else who could actually influence that flow of commerce and naval combat power.
Amid this, America is desperately trying to convince Iran to drop its demand to charge tolls on vessels passing through Hormuz. With Iran refusing to buckle down under pressure, Donald Trump's dilemma is growing as the Hormuz impasse led to a devastating impact on global economy. In this scenario, Trump breaking up the Panama Canal is being perceived as yet another diversionary tactic on part of the U.S. president. Well, with that, let's tell you what is coming up on the other side of Gravitas. Iran is preparing for perhaps the largest state funeral in its modern history. The late Ayatollah Ali Khamenei will be laid to rest. We get you more on how different countries will take part in it. And the latest in the probe of the Ram Temple donation scam, more revelations have emerged in this entire controversy. Details coming up in just a bit. Iran is preparing for what could become one of the largest state funerals in its modern history. A farewell meant not only to honor the late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, but also to project Iran's religious identity, political resilience, and national unity before a global audience. The final preparations are already underway. These are the latest visuals of the specially prepared vehicle that will carry the body of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei along with the bodies of the members of his family who were assassinated in the US-Israel strikes on the 28th of February this year. The vehicle has been decorated for what Iran has described as its bidding farewell to the martyr of Iran. The funeral ceremony will begin on the 4th of July at Imam Khomeini Musalla in Tehran, the capital's principal venue for major state prayers and national ceremonies. On the 6th of July, then, the main funeral procession will begin, passing through major sites in Tehran, such as Imam Hussein Square, which is a major hub hosting massive religious processions and mourning ceremonies, as well as the Azadi Square, the iconic monument closely associated with the 1979 Islamic Revolution and Iran's modern political history. On the 7th of July, the ceremonies will continue in Qom, Iran's foremost center of Shia religious scholarship, where senior clerics are expected to pay their respects. The funeral cortege will then travel to Iraq, where public processions and memorial ceremonies are planned on the 8th of July in the holy Shia cities of Najaf and Karbala, highlighting the deep religious and cultural ties between Iran and Iraq's Shia communities. The final rites will conclude on the 9th of July in Mashhad, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's hometown, where he will be buried at the revered Imam Reza Shrine, which is one of the world's largest mosque complexes and one of the holiest sites in Shia Islam. Iranian authorities expect millions of mourners, with some estimates suggesting up to 20 million people who could attend the processions in Tehran alone, and over 35 million overall. International delegations from more than 90 countries are expected. Confirmed attendees include Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, the Chinese President Xi Jinping's special envoy, senior Iranian leaders including President Masoud Pezeshkian, the Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, senior Revolutionary Guard commanders are all expected to participate. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei served as Iran's supreme leader from 1989 until 2026. After previously serving as the country's president. For nearly 4 decades, he helped shape Iran's domestic politics, foreign policy, and religious establishment, becoming one of West Asia's most influential leaders. For Iran, this funeral represents far more than a final goodbye. It offers Tehran a global stage to showcase the central role of Islam in the Islamic Republic. In fact, they will celebrate Ali Khamenei's legacy. They will display the national solidarity through high public turnout and perhaps most importantly, send a powerful message to the world through a grand and historic farewell. Shifting our focus now to India, in Tamil Nadu, a half-century of political dominance collapses in real time as the fortress of Dravidian resistance crumbles. The AIA-DMK, which is a party built on the cult of absolute personality, faces total extinction as its remaining leadership abandons ship to join Vijay's rising political force. Our next special report gets you more on this. Take a look.
For more than 5 years, Tamil Nadu operated on an unbreakable political absolute. Power was a permanent pendulum swinging predictably between the DMK and the AIA-DMK. But today, DMK has lost power and AIA-DMK is facing an existential crisis. AIA-DMK grew from charisma into an institution. MGR gave it a cinematic birth, Jayalalitha hardened its brand and steered it through triumph and scandal. The party survived deaths, prison terms, and bitter internal conflicts. But now, AIA-DMK is all but in decline. In Mahabalipuram, AIADMK leaders are leaving in large numbers. Former ministers, MLAs and waves of grassroots cadres are actively crossing lines to join Thalapathy Vijay's new party, TVK. AIADMK was born in late 1970s under the leadership of M.G. Ramachandran, better known as MGR. His immense popularity transformed the party into a political force. After him came J. Jayalalitha, whose commanding leadership kept the AIADMK united and electorally formidable for years. Then came 2016. Jayalalitha's death created a leadership vacuum. The party is never fully overcome. The battle for succession quickly turned into a prolonged internal war. V.K. Sasikala emerged briefly before being sidelined by legal troubles. TTV Dinakaran charted his own political course in 2017. O. Pannirselvam and Edapadi K. Palaniswamy fought for control, splitting leaders, cadres and supporters. The AIADMK survived, but every split weakened its foundation. The party gradually lost its ability to project itself as a credible alternative to the DMK. At the same time, a new political force was taking shape. Actor Vijay entered politics, bringing with him a massive youth following and a fresh political narrative. His popularity, brilliant use of social media powered him to a spectacular electoral victory in Tamil Nadu. Whether this marks the end of the AIADMK remains an open question. However, Vijay's journey from a mega star to a chief minister is a remarkable success story, one that continues to gather momentum. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Keeping with updates from India, fresh revelations are emerging in the alleged fund embezzlement case linked to the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. As per reports, the biggest diversion of donation money took place during the 2025 Mahakumbh, when millions of devotees visited the temple, leading to a massive surge in the offerings. The scale of donations at the Ram Temple highlights the significance of the alleged fraud. On the 22nd of January in 2024, the day of the consecration ceremony, offerings touched nearly 3.17 crore rupees. In the first 11 days after the inauguration, the temple received nearly 11 crore rupees in donations. The Sri Ram Janmabhoomi Tirth Kshetra Trust reported annual earnings of nearly 327 crore rupees during the financial year 2024 to 25. Banking and temple-linked sources also indicate that average daily deposits have increased from around 10 to 12 lakh rupees to nearly 20 to 24 lakh rupees. Investigators have identified Lavkush Mishra and his brother-in-law Anukalp Mishra as the two accused who allegedly siphoned off the donation money. The police have also traced immovable properties allegedly amassed by the duo, and they're likely to seek assistance from the Income Tax Department as well as other agencies to track the money trail. Both, remember, are among the 8 accused who have been arrested in this case, and they remain in judicial custody. The police raided Lavkush Mishra's residence in Ayodhya and recovered nearly 12 lakh rupees in cash. Mishra was part of the temple staff who was responsible for counting the cash offerings by the devotees. Before joining the trust, he reportedly worked as a car mechanic. The probe has also cast a shadow over the Ram Temple Trust. The trust's General Secretary, Champat Rai, has submitted his resignation, and the matter is expected to be heard on Monday next. Authorities are examining financial transactions, assets, and the role of those entrusted with handling the temple donations, as one of India's biggest religious institutions comes under scrutiny. India's richest temples hold wealth in different forms, from annual donations and cash offerings to bank deposits, investment income, and centuries-old treasure. Now, some of these temples are Tirupati, Padmanabha Swami, Guruvayur, and Vaishno Devi, as well as Shirdi. Weather news now. Monsoon rains continue to wreak havoc across large parts of India. While a death has been reported in Mumbai, several parts of Delhi NCR received light to moderate rainfall today. In the financial capital of Mumbai, heavy and persistent rains have continued for a second consecutive day. The torrential rains have caused massive waterlogging in several low-lying areas while disrupting road traffic and suburban train services. A 55-year-old man died after he fell into an open manhole during heavy rains in the Sakinaka area. The incident has triggered fresh questions over monsoon preparedness and public safety. The Mumbai civic body has suspended 4 officials amid mounting criticism over repeated civic infrastructure failures during the rainy season. 2 teenage girls have suffered an electric shock while wading through rainwaters accumulated on the road near a bridge in the Nerul area of Navi Mumbai. The IMD has forecast heavy to very heavy rainfall in Mumbai and its suburbs over the next 24 hours, accompanied by gusty winds. Several parts of the national capital, meanwhile, received light to moderate rainfall as well, bringing a much-needed relief from the humid conditions and lowering the temperature across the city. The India Meteorological Department said that Delhi is likely to witness a generally cloudy sky with moderate rains during the day. In fact, it also forecasts thunderstorms accompanied by rain on Friday, Saturday, as well as on Sunday. Moderate to heavy rainfall was witnessed in most parts of Uttarakhand as well. The Weather Office issued an alert for several districts, including Dehradun, due to unceasing downpour and the falling debris and stones from the hillsides. Traffic movement has been affected on the Badrinath National Highway in the Chamoli district and the Kedarnath Yatra route in Rudraprayag district. In Jammu and Kashmir, meanwhile, pilgrimages to the Machail Mata and Mindhal Mata shrines in Kishtwar district remain suspended due to incessant rainfall, slippery roads and the risk of shooting stones. The Met Department says that a low-pressure area is likely to form over the northwest Bay of Bengal on the 3rd of July, bringing heavy rainfall to South Bengal as well. All right, moving on. Are aliens for real? While the Trump administration released hundreds of UFO-related files, the revelations were hardly convincing. Now, it has formed a UFO council headed by Harvard professor Avi Loeb to uncover the truth. Speaking with WION, he decoded how this mission will unfold. Take a look at our report.
Are we alone in this vast cosmos? A lingering question which we keep asking. Well, there are about 400 billion stars in our own Milky Way galaxy alone. Wait, that's nothing. It's just our cosmic backyard. In the vast universe, there are an estimated 2 trillion galaxies. Just imagine doing the maths to calculate how many planets might exist across them all. So going back to the main question, is Earth the only planet which harbors life? Well, science fiction movies have romanticized the idea that America could be hiding aliens. Some believe that the US could also be secretly using alien tech. Well, that's fiction, and the Pentagon, after years of waiting, has started releasing UFO files. But the so-called revelations have revealed nothing except from these blurry images which show bright objects in the night sky looking like alien ships. Now, the Trump administration has appointed Harvard cosmologist Professor Avi Loeb as the head of UFO Council. He promises to unravel the truth.
My mission is to apply the scientific method to the analysis of the data that the US government has, and it includes images, videos, but perhaps also materials. And at the moment, we don't know the extent of all the information.
Professor Loeb explains that the methods to examine these unknown phenomena are based on hard science. He also hints that many such mysterious objects could be actually of terrestrial origin from adversaries.
For every Chinese spy balloon, there might be hundreds of drones that are around, and perhaps those account for the orbs that are mentioned by some reports.
Donald Trump's chief alien hunter has been known for his unconventional thinking about alien life. Prof. Loeb extensively followed the interstellar object 3I Atlas and asserted that it was a relic from a civilization in another celestial neighborhood.
It could imply that icebergs may transfer life from one star to another. This is a process called panspermia. And what we need to do when the next interstellar object is observed, if it shows a similar behavior, it would be very good to have a mission that comes close to it and can examine whether there are any signatures implying biology.
For now, we have to wait and watch for the outcomes from this new UFO panel chief.
Six days ago, one of the most tightly secured cities in the world was rocked by a major security lapse. A light aircraft mysteriously crashed into Beijing's tallest building. However, what followed thereafter has now triggered speculation of a cover-up. As per a statement by the Chinese authorities, a single-engine, two-seat light aircraft collided with a 528-meter-high CITIC tower in Beijing's central business district. This led to the death of the pilot, whereas 13 others were injured. However, there was radio silence on the cause of the crash. While this dramatic incident was captured on video from a nearby building, the discussion around the circumstances of the crash has reportedly been censored. The police have cordoned off the area and they've covered up the small hole that was made in the building. As per reports, even online photographs of the building are believed to have been removed from Chinese social media. The next update came only a day after China's power elite, led by Chinese President Xi Jinping, participated in a ceremony to mark the 105th anniversary of the Communist Party. A few hours earlier, the authorities revealed that the pilot was a 66-year-old man surnamed Liu, who had mental health problems, and suggested that he took his own life. Now, why is this being considered a major security lapse? Well, on the very day of the crash, Xi Jinping held a bilateral meeting with the Bangladeshi Prime Minister Tariq Rahman in Beijing's Great Hall of the People, which is quite close to the crash site. The CITIC Tower is also close to Beijing's secretive Zhongnanhai. This former imperial garden houses Chinese President Jinping's primary residence and offices of China's top political leadership. In May this year, she hosted the US President Donald Trump at this very place. And this is not all. The crash site is barely 6 kilometers away from the UNESCO World Heritage Site of the Forbidden City, which is, remember, visited by thousands of tourists every day. This has also come as a major surprise, as airspace is especially restricted with a permanent no-fly zone of 100 square kilometers over central Beijing. In May, the entire city was designated as a controlled airspace, owing to which all outdoor drone flights require prior approval. The regulations also ban the sale and transport of drones into the capital and impose strict limits on their storage. In fact, even normally, Beijing is a highly guarded city where surveillance cameras dot street corners and police swarm around areas like Tiananmen Square, which is, of course, very close to the CITIC Tower where this incident happened. Chinese citizens driving into Beijing have to go through multiple security checkpoints. Now, the last crash which took place in Beijing was in July of 2022 when a tourist helicopter had crashed during a flight between two districts, killing 2 pilots on board. Meanwhile, it has now emerged that a bigger disaster could have potentially occurred. As per a report by the Straits Times, a Hainan Airlines jet narrowly avoided colliding with the light aircraft as it flew towards the central Beijing. This has raised some uncomfortable questions. Was the crash as innocuous as it sounds, or was a deeper conspiracy afoot to target key leaders? It remains to be seen whether we will ever get to the bottom of this crash. Moving on, a growing controversy is unfolding in the United Kingdom after a Chinese-owned education company abruptly shut down two prestigious private schools, a move that has reportedly triggered questions over foreign ownership of Britain's historic institutions. The Chinese company Galaxy Global reportedly announced the immediate closure of Ruthin School in Wales, founded in 1284. Durham High School was the other school to close. Now, the move has reportedly left hundreds of students, parents and teachers scrambling, especially after Durham families were reportedly told to ignore rumours that the school was at risk. According to a report by the Times UK, the company says financial challenges made the schools unsustainable and have promised to help the students secure admissions elsewhere. Now, these developments have reportedly reignited the debate over Chinese investment in Britain's education sector. A Beijing-based education consultancy estimates that Chinese investors own more than 30 independent schools across the UK. The Times UK has also reported that a senior British government source believes the Chinese Communist Party was allegedly behind a series of these takeovers. In other news, for centuries, life has been something humans could only study but never build. Now, scientists have assembled a living-like cell from chemicals, pushing biology into uncharted territory. It can perform vital biological functions, including growing and replicating their own DNA. But is it really artificial life? Well, watch our next story to know more on this absolutely fascinating scientific discovery.
It begins with something too small for the human eye to see. No heartbeat, no brain, no organs, just a tiny bubble of carefully arranged chemicals. Yet inside it, something extraordinary is happening. Scientists have created a synthetic cell called spud cell, built entirely from non-living chemical components. Instead of modifying an existing living cell, researchers assembled its basic building blocks from scratch, creating a system that performs several of the essential functions associated with life. The artificial cell can absorb nutrients from its surroundings. It can grow, it can copy its DNA, and under the right conditions, it can divide into new cells. These are some of the defining processes that allow living organisms to survive and reproduce. But does that mean scientists have created life? Not quite. Researchers are careful to draw a distinction. Spud cell is not a fully living organism. It cannot evolve independently, survive outside carefully controlled laboratory conditions, or carry out all the complex functions of natural cells. Instead, it is a simplified model designed to help scientists understand one of biology's biggest mysteries. The human body has 37 trillion cells, more than the number of stars in the sky, and scientists still don't know how every different cell type works or what exactly they contain. How does life emerge from non-living matter? The lab-created spud cell can have practical applications, including making medicines, delivering targeted treatments, cleaning pollutants, and producing sustainable materials. However, it also raises ethical and safety concerns, requiring strict oversight as synthetic biology advances. Spud cell is not man-made life, but it marks an important scientific milestone.
UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer has said that he's proud that Britain now has the gayest parliament in the world. He made this remark while hosting a Pride Month reception at 10 Downing Street. At the Pride Month reception, Starmer hosted LGBTQ plus activists, community leaders and members of the parliament, praising the record level of LGBTQ plus representation in British politics. The Prime Minister highlighted his administration's legislative efforts. Now, this includes equalising hate crime laws and a planned full trans-inclusive ban on abusive conversion practices. Following the 2024 general election, the UK Parliament has over 70 self-identified LGBTQ plus members. That makes it the world's largest national legislature by openly LGBTQ plus representation. Prominent openly gay politicians in Britain include Wes Streeting, Chris Bryant, Ben Bradshaw and House of Lords member Wahid Ali. They've all played key roles in government and LGBTQ plus advocacy. Openly gay politicians lead governments and they hold major offices worldwide, trailblazing global leaders, including former Prime Minister of Luxembourg, Xavier Bettel, former Prime Minister of Ireland, Leo Varadkar, the Prime Minister of Netherlands, Rob Chetten, and the President of Latvia. They all have helped increase LGBTQ plus visibility in global politics. The rise in the representation reflects a broader shift in many democracies. Political institutions that were once less inclusive are now seeing greater acceptance of diverse identities. While challenges still remain, representation continues to expand worldwide. Well, England needed a rescue act by Captain Harry Kane to reach the last 16 at the World Cup, and their reward at the World Cup is a clash at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City, which is at an altitude of over 7,000 feet above sea level. The pre-quarterfinal against co-host Mexico is going to be a daunting challenge for multiple reasons. In any tournament, remember, the host nations generally have an advantage, but in this case, the advantage for Mexico is significantly more. The Azteca Stadium is located over 7,000 meters above sea level, 7,220 feet to be exact. This altitude serves as an advantage for a better acclimatized football team against their opponents. As the altitude increases, atmospheric pressure decreases along with air density. Above around 6,500 feet, athletes experience a reduction in their aerobic capacity. Essentially, the hosts, Mexico, are acclimatized to air, which has 20% less oxygen. Now, research suggests that athletes competing at high altitude should spend a week or two living at that level in order to allow their bodies to acclimatize and generate more red blood cells. But England will only be arriving in Mexico City 2 days before the match. Fatigue will also become an issue. The head coach, Thomas, will likely have to use all 5 substitutions that are available to him. The hydration break in each half will come as a welcome respite for the Three Lions. In fact, Thomas said, and I quote him, "The altitude will be a big disadvantage because we cannot physically adapt to it. It just takes too much time. We have only 3 days in between these matches. It's physically just not possible to adapt to the altitude." That is just a huge advantage that Mexico will have. Remember, this is just something with which we will have to deal with. Now, Mexico's record at the Azteca Stadium reflects their advantage. They've lost just twice in 88 games. No World Cup team has beaten Mexico at the stadium in 10 attempts. Mexico have already played 3 games in the ongoing tournament at the venue, and they've won all 3. The 87,000 fans that will fill up the arena will also make it an intimidating atmosphere for England. Remember, England also don't have fond memories of the Azteca Stadium. It's the arena where Diego Maradona scored the hand of God goal against them, which was quickly followed by what many call the goal of the century. All right, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas. As always, we will keep getting you updates and analysis from across the world. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Bye-bye. Good night.
where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International war crimes. And millions swindled in financial fraud. The victims, the accused, and the sinister plot. Prime Crime is your front row seat to darkness. In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures, and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
WION, India's global voice, the channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190